The elevator. I had been having dizzy spells for the last couple of days. It was unusual for me, but nothing too alarming. The spells were infrequent, happening once or twice a day, so I tried to push through. But then I had one that knocked me off my feet and left me with a minor bruise on my head. That was when I decided it was time for a checkup. At the hospital, my doctor performed some preliminary checks and examined the bruise. He concluded that I wasn't in any immediate danger, but recommended staying overnight for observation. He also scheduled more in-depth tests with a specialist the following day. The day dragged on with me feeling bored out of my mind in the hospital room, flipping through basic cable channels and scrolling aimlessly on my phone. As midnight approached, hunger gnawed at me. I decided to head to the cafeteria to grab something from the vending machines. I left my room and headed toward the elevator. The hospital was eerily empty at this hour. I pressed the button and waited. After several minutes, I grew impatient and figured the elevator was out of order. So I decided to take the stairs. I'm on the 7th floor, and I think the cafeteria is on the 2nd, I muttered to myself as I made my way to the stairwell. As I took a few steps down the empty stairway, another dizzy spell hit me hard. I stumbled, clutching the railing for dear life. "That was a close one," I whispered, trying to steady myself. I managed to make it to the 2nd floor without further incident and navigated the empty hallways to the cafeteria. I found a sandwich in the vending machine that looked appealing, but when I reached into my pocket, I realized I had forgotten my money. "Crap, I forgot my money," I muttered in frustration. I decided to go back to my room to retrieve my money and figured I'd give the elevator another try. This time, the elevator arrived quickly. I stepped inside and pressed the button for the 7th floor. As the elevator ascended, it jolted violently, and the lights began to flicker. Panic set in, and I prayed it wouldn't plummet. The elevator continued its erratic journey, the lights flickering on and off. As it neared the 7th floor, I prepared to bolt out the moment the doors opened. But to my horror, the elevator didn't stop. It kept going. Confused and terrified, I watched as it finally halted at the 13th floor, a floor that didn't exist in this building. The doors remained closed despite the elevator reaching this phantom floor. I frantically pressed the emergency button, but nothing worked. Minutes passed. The lights went out for a few seconds, then came back on dimly. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed someone else in the elevator with me. My heart raced. I had entered the elevator alone. The figure stood facing the corner, unmoving. I was frozen with terror. Suddenly, the elevator doors opened, and without hesitation, I dashed out. I raced through the dark, empty hallways, my heart pounding in my chest. Relief washed over me when I saw a nurse in the distance. But as I got closer, I noticed her tattered uniform. She turned around, and my heart sank. Her eyes were hollow, and she grinned at me. I turned and ran, passing more patients with the same hollow eyes and eerie grins. Panic drove me to the stairwell, the ghastly horde close behind. The door wouldn't budge. Desperate, I rammed it with my shoulder, the hollow-eyed residents closing in. With a final, desperate effort, I broke through and dashed down the stairs. As I neared the 7th floor, I saw a body lying on the ground. My breath caught in my throat as I realized what I was looking at. My own body.
Thank you for listening to this terrifying twist tale. Please support this channel by liking and subscribing.